So this is the phone that I used to make this phone call to Connor on the 28th of October at 1:14 p.m. I'm going to show you the call log, which weirdly, I uploaded a video earlier on today. I'm just uploading another one now. Normally, you could see the details of the calls back to the 28th. You can see that I phoned 6 times at around 13:22, but for some reason you can't actually see the full details of the call anymore. I can't explain to you why that is. I certainly haven't edited them. You can probably see it in the last properties video that I did, but that's just the way it is. But anyway, you can see that I phoned him on the 20th of October, but you can't see the exact call file. It doesn't really matter. You can see it's here in Cube ACR. This is the call file here at 6:44 minutes long. It's going to play a little song about that.
I haven't got a solicitor, mate. Well, I've been invited to another tribunal on your I've got phone numbers online, and which just shows that it's
Anyway, you can see that if I select show on map, it shows where you are, where I was when you made that phone call, which was at Orchard Portman Hospital in Taunton, which is pretty cool. What we'll do now is I will show you that call file inside the native folder for the app. So you can see that the properties are the same as the call time. So I'm going to put the timestamp 2020, the year 10, the date 28th. Then I'm going to hyphenate it, stick in 13, 14, and then 631 kilobytes is the call file. I'm going to play that for you out of VLC. You can see the correspondence.
Well, I've been invited to another tribunal on your details. Right. Linked to PC Dudley, if you remember, but I've got my transfer. Yeah, no, we're still for time is about 45 minutes, buddy.
Anyway, that's that one. And what I'll do for you is just going to press and hold on that. Then I'm going to go to details, and that will just show the call file properties on there. It's all available to download on Google Drive with a whole bunch of other information on there too. But yeah, we've got the call log, I've got the JSON file, I've got the rest of the details from the ACR call log, but I don't have the original call log. It's not that relevant, but yeah, all of that information's on there. It's a pretty damning call if you listen to the details, and it's got some fairly relevant information in there, and certainly very clear that he's being dictated to by a third party, in my opinion. See what you think. I called Connor at 1:14 p.m. on the 28th of October. Connor answered asking what's up, as he'd done the day before. Sounding a bit shaky, he said he was at home in Bristol and had just woken up. I asked if he could make it to my ward round at Signet Taunton the next morning. At first he questioned if he was allowed, then changed the subject. He said he'd received a letter inviting him to a mental health tribunal. When I asked him to visit the hospital during our last call, the line instantly went quiet, then the call terminated shortly afterwards. I've not been informed of any upcoming dates by HM Courts and Tribunal Service or Signet. When I mentioned that I thought my last tribunal was illegal, he just said I had no proof. I explained my solicitor wasn't registered with SRA and I felt she was biased. Connor defended Signet, and the solicitors argued in support of my mobile phones being taken away from me and disregarded what I said. The confiscation wasn't properly documented. It was supposedly justified as I'd written one of the staff's names in a tweet, but the tweet in question was deleted within hours as per instruction from the ward. However, Signet still insisted I'd breached its policy and locked my SA and my S6 in a safe for weeks. The tweet wasn't rude or offensive. A staff member had written that I was wearing a pale yellow t-shirt instead of a grey one when I was due to be heading to the shops with him on my Section 17 leave paperwork. A simple mistake on his part, which I'd presented as one in a short write-up I tweeted at NHS Counter Fraud Authority after another Section 17 leave form had vanished soon afterwards. I just wanted advice on what to do, and Connor knows this. I'm an NHS patient, and although NHS Devon Partnership's policy document M14 expressly permits live video streaming of medical consultations on social media as a form of note-taking, I had my phones forcibly removed and didn't get a receipt or the rationale stipulated in writing, all for a single tweet with one staff member's name in it, which I'd already deleted. I made a sarcastic jibe to Connor about MI6 investigating hostages on the ward, which Connor laughed off, making reference to the one dispatched to his house in St Werburgh's by Avon and Somerset Police on the 9th of July, before I was taken to Southmead Hospital and on to Orchard Portman, Taunton. This seemed to cheer him up. I said I suspected cyber fraud related to communications with the unregistered solicitor, who I suspect was using a spoof name made to sound just like I've eaten her. This makes a little more sense in context. When my 3UK, Capital One and various other account details were stolen and registered at Jarvis Walk, Hartlepool, which in turn also sounds like cannibal, in 2019, I was admitted to the same hospital and ward, Sycamore, Orchard Portman. After ignoring me for ages, my bogus solicitor claimed repeatedly to be in Poole, Dorset, during one of our only phone conversations. Another detail I'm likely to verbally relay, which sounds like cannibal. This call recording is on Google Drive. She resolutely defended Signet, was unusually difficult to get hold of, and wouldn't provide credentials or references in writing. I explained to Connor that card fraud in 2019 was committed 24 hours before a trip to my house in Buckfastleigh, Devon, escorted by 2 Signet staff. I wasn't able to credit my prepayment electricity meter at my house with the blocked cards. Signet knew full well I had a comprehensive home CCTV system, but had no problem sending staff the first time around. On the second home visit, when the security system was working, Signet flatly refused to allow their staff to enter unless they could remain anonymous throughout. A solicitor from Poole, defending censorship by Signet, whose surreptitious and conspicuous desire to obfuscate its staff's identities was facilitated the previous year by a crime linked to Hartlepool, which, like Poole, sounds like cannibal, whose name also sounds like I've eaten her, didn't interest Connor. He said it was all bollocks and that he didn't care. Connor reported the very same identity theft in 2019. PC Dudley of Ashburn Police had visited my house 3 times and said on the phone he was investigating Connor's report. Connor shared extensive alarmist social media posts at the time. After saying he now didn't care about this fraud, Connor immediately contradicted himself, saying how seriously it had affected him and blamed me for the whole thing. Then he contradicted himself once more, trying to dissuade me from investigating further, saying I'd never catch the guy, so I might as well not look into it anymore. First, Connor didn't care, and it didn't matter. Then, seconds later, he did. It was serious and all my fault. Then, the crime he reported himself and shouted at me down the phone to address in spring 2019 wasn't worth investigating now that I had some corroborating evidence. The polarised, sweeping alteration in the continuity of his logic sounded very characteristic of a third party instructing Connor. This is further supported by the spurious details he provided of him having made a report and its subsequent investigation. Recorded calls, CCTV and police documents are available in Google Drive using the link in the description. I mentioned that the Jarvis family we know from Buckfastleigh went by the same name as the road in Hartlepool, Jarvis Walk. The mother, Jane, was a colleague of our mother Alethea MacLeod, who passed away in 2014. Alethea was the victim of a series of coalescing medical mistakes before her death and extensive deceased fraud to her estate. Both the son and daughter of the Jarvis family are acquaintances of Connor and I. Amy was the last person I slept with back in 2013. She'd been in a long-term relationship with Matt Richards, Connor's housemate, who I believed has been abusive toward Connor for several years and suspected as having been involved in cyber fraud. Amy Jarvis had also been seeing another guy from Buckfastleigh during 2013, who it just happens is admitted to the hospital where I'm unlawfully detained right now. I'm not sure if they were together when we slept together, but the guy's mother became very close to Alethea in the months before she passed away. It would be improper to start shooting my mouth off on the internet and breach his patient confidentiality by providing his name, and I would add that speculation on his relationship with Amy Jarvis is my opinion and not something I have factual evidence to support. Everything else I've asserted is extensively documented and provable. When I mentioned the name Jarvis, Connor terminated the call instantly.
Oh,
Hello.
hello, bruv.
All right. What's up?
I'm just saying to say hello, mate. See how you are.
Okay. Well, I'm okay. Not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, mate. I'm just trying to decide what to do with my day. All the
Same.
I'm kind of just taking the piss. But that's because they're fucking evil. What have you had to eat today, mate? Are you at home? Are you just like with Sienna or what?
Yeah. So,
Okay, cool. What have you been up to today?
Well, fuck all. I've only just got out of bed.
Okay, cool. So you got to work tomorrow?
Well, yeah.
All right, mate. My ward round's in the morning, mate.
What time?
Well, normally before sort of 12 o'clock, like 11:30, 12 o'clock. So if you get on a train at like 9 or, first thing in the morning, the train takes about half an hour, 20 minutes, and it'll take you 10 minutes in a cab.
I think it takes a bit longer than half an hour, 20 minutes, Brody. We say it's about 45 minutes.
Bristol to Taunton's no time at all, but honestly.
Bristol to Taunton is about 45 minutes, Brody.
No. I don't know. Why don't we? I'm not on the internet.
Right, well, 35 minutes, whatever.
I think it's more like 28 minutes or something. Yeah, it's probably
Okay.
It'll be less than an hour. If you get on the train at 9, you'll be here before 10, sort of thing.
And am I allowed to actually come into the hospital?
100%, mate. Obviously, you've been here before, haven't you?
Yeah, but I mean, there's a pandemic.
Plenty of times. Yeah, visitors have been into the hospital many times, mate. And you're expressly allowed to ward rounds. That's one of the things. Like, we discussed it the other day. We were going to arrange it, and then it just never happened. But I think it'd be really good for you to attend.
Are you aware I've been invited to another one of your tribunals?
I haven't got a solicitor, mate.
Well, I've been invited to another tribunal on the 11th of November.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the last tribunal that took place was completely illegal. Basically, I had a solicitor, like I said to you. There was someone called Anita Hare, which sounds a bit like I've eaten her, and they've been obviously murdered somebody on the ward, and they were serving human meat in the canteen.
What was it that actually made it illegal, other than the fact you thought it was illegal? Was there anything that actually proved it was illegal, other than you just did a little birdie tell you?
So there's something called the SRA, which is the Solicitors Regulatory Authority, which she isn't a member of, which means she's not a solicitor.
You told me about this.
She tried to stick up for the hospital, stealing my phones, and she tried to stick up for the hospital unlawfully.
Well, I was personally behind the hospitals. I was behind their decision to take your phones, Brody. I don't think you having phones is a good thing. It gives you a platform to try and perpetuate your delusion of self-belief.
Signet does, which I'm sure when they send out an armed response team and fucking shoot everybody, then
well, that's funny because that's what you did. Yeah, talking of armed response teams.
Basically, Matt, I don't really know what the deal is with it. Like, MI6 know exactly what's going on in this building. They know that there's people being held prisoner here. They know that there's been a fatality in the building. They know that half the people here are unqualified. Some of them are serial killers. Yeah.
All right, mate. I've had enough. Anyway, I'll speak to you there.
But for some reason, they haven't got the budget.
All right, Bye.
Who told you about this tribunal, mate?
Well, I've got a letter from HM Courts Tribunal Services.
Okay, because I didn't receive any written notification of what happened with that for some reason. Like, basically, they fucked up the whole thing. Like, when I actually got into the meeting, my solicitor had been ignoring me for ages. I'd asked him to verify basic details, and they wouldn't verify the details. The phone calls that I'd made to the solicitor and the emails that I'd made to the solicitor have been hacked by people at the hospital. And basically, it just and then I put screenshots of their phone numbers online. Which just showed that the SIM cards were registered in the names of people connected to the ward, and the phone calls that I'd made, the call recordings were completely hoaxed. She was trying to say she was in a place called Poole, Dorset, which sounds a bit like cannibal. And like last year, it's interesting. I got my credit. I got my credit report from TransUnion. Remember, I was here last year and they blocked my credit cards. So like when I had home leave. The first time I went down, they didn't say anything about the CCTV, and I had no electricity. And then when I got down there, somebody phoned up. Someone stole my password, my Ocean and Capital One credit cards, and then they blocked my credit cards. And like Bradley and these fucking two of the staff members stood there laughing outside the car, like, "Oh, what's that, Brody? Your cards don't work. Oh well, I guess your CCTV won't work." And then the next time I went to go on home leave, they were like, "You can't go on home leave unless you turn off all your cameras, so none of our staff get seen." It was like, you've got no fucking right to do that at all.
Yeah, whatever, Brody. Okay.
Well, that was that guy linked to PC Dudley, if you remember. But I've got my transcript.
Yeah, mate, I don't care, mate. It's just all bollocks, Brody. I really couldn't give a fuck, mate. I'm sorry.
It was all my cars got changed to an address in Hartlepool, which also sounds a bit like cannibal.
I remember that, Brody. That was if you remember, because you fucking stupidly put all your details online. And some random geezer who still don't know basically stole your identity and tried to fucking empty my bank account, if you remember. That was all your fault. So, cheers for that.
When I had that stolen, it was registered at an address called Java.
I don't care. Brody, mate, you're not a fucking detective. You're never going to get to the bottom of that. You're not that smart. I'm sorry.
This is what it says on the TransUnion credit report.
I don't care. I literally couldn't give a fuck from you. I don't care, man. I'm not going to entertain your stupid little fucking delusional fucking investigations, Brody. I don't care.
It's in black and white. I'll send you a copy.
It's bollocks, Brody. I don't care, mate. I care about you, Brody. I don't care. I care about you and you getting better, mate. I don't care about fucking stupid credit reports. I'm not going to sit there in a fucking magnifying glass. I've got better things to be doing, Brody, than like going through like endless reams of bullshit just to try and fucking
see like yes, Brody, as well. Dorset. Her name is Anita Hare, which sounds a bit like I've eaten her. And last year I got my credit card details registered at a place in Hartley.
What's that got to do with literally anything? What's that got to do with anything?
It's a funny coincidence because that's what Amy and Ossie and surname, isn't it?
Oh, fuck off, man. I'll see some there.
What?